Elon Musk is buying another big platform. Tech entrepreneur Musk is galloping into the social media space after Twitter accepted his offer to buy the company. As its new owner, he will try to realize his vision for the social media platform by fixing what he considers to be its failures and the failures of social media in general. Let's find out more. Tesla founder and mining heir Elon Musk has entered into an agreement to purchase Twitter in a $44 billion deal that will turn the social media network into a privately held company, with potentially large-scale ramifications ahead for the platform. Yet, in the immediate aftermath of the Monday announcement, it's difficult to say precisely how a Musk-led Twitter will differ from its shareholder-owned iteration. Musk's statement announcing the go-private deal hinted at several possible changes, including authenticating all humans, defeating spam, and enhancing the product with new features. But details remain to be clarified. The statement quoted Musk as saying that he values free speech and hopes to make Twitter better than ever and maintain the platform's status as the digital town square. Yet, according to the Electronic Frontier Foundation's Director of International Freedom of Expression, Gillian York, Musk's commitment to free speech is highly questionable. Questioning Musk's commitment to free speech. He's talked about being a free speech absolutist, but he doesn't really have the bona fides to back that up, York said. Musk has pursued legal action against people who have criticized him publicly in the past. York also noted that Musk's ownership, coupled with the fact that direct messages on the platform remain unencrypted, could create, in theory, a problem for business users. For years, people have been calling on Twitter to encrypt direct messages, she said. Theoretically, this means that Musk could access your DMs, and for businesses, that could pose a threat. Yet, there's also plenty of reasons to believe that Twitter might not change much, particularly in the short term as a result of Musk's buyout of the company. Unless Musk fires huge numbers of employees and replaces them, the people who make key decisions on content policy and moderation will still be there. It's hard for me to see how this will be better or worse for users than a bunch of shareholders having control over the company, York said. Moreover, it's difficult to see how Musk could accomplish some of the expressed goals he outlined in today's statement, she added. Going after bots and misinformation is a hard thing to do, she said, so I think he's going to hit a really hard problem when he tries to deal with it. How it went down. Under the terms of the agreement, Twitter stockholders will receive $54.20 in cash for each share of Twitter common stock that they own upon closing of the proposed transaction, expected to occur by the end of the year and subject to regulatory approval. The purchase price represents a 38% premium to Twitter's closing stock price on April 1, the last trading day before Musk publicly disclosed an approximately 9% stake in Twitter, the company said. After that disclosure, Musk publicly offered to buy Twitter, and initially the company appeared ready to rebuff the offer. It adopted a so-called poison pill structure, which holds that if any person or group acquires ownership of at least 15% of Twitter's outstanding common stock without the board's approval, other shareholders would be allowed to purchase additional shares at a discount. Ultimately, though, the board agreed to the offer. The Twitter board conducted a thoughtful and comprehensive process to assess Elon's proposal with a deliberate focus on value, certainty, and financing. The proposed transaction will deliver a substantial cash premium, and we believe it is the best path forward for Twitter stockholders, said Brett Taylor, Twitter's independent board chair, in a company statement. To close the deal, Musk secured $25.5 billion of debt and margin loan financing, and is committing approximately $21.0 billion in cash. Why Musk wants Twitter? So, why does the world's richest person, who already leads electric car company Tesla and aerospace company SpaceX, want to buy the social media company? Here's what he said about his plan and how fast he could change things. Why he did it. Musk said he wants to promote free and open speech on the service, which he said he sees as an essential place for sharing viewpoints. During a TED interview shortly after announcing his bid, he expanded on some of his plans. Well, I think it's very important for there to be an inclusive arena for free speech, Musk said. Twitter has become kind of the de facto town square, so it's just really important that people have both the reality and the perception that they're able to speak freely within the bounds of the law. Musk has not said whether he would change the permanent ban on former President Donald Trump, who was kicked off the site in the wake of the January 6 insurrection last year. Critics of Musk's plan have expressed concerns that he would allow extremist content on the site, which Twitter and other social media companies struggle to fully eradicate. Musk acknowledged during the TED interview that content moderation is not a clear-cut issue. He said he thought Twitter should be very cautious with permanent bans, adding that he thought timeouts were better. Well, I think we would want to err on the, if in doubt, let the speech, let it exist. But if it's a gray area, I would say let the tweet exist, he said. But obviously, in a case where there's perhaps a lot of controversy, you're not necessarily going to promote that tweet. I'm not saying I have all the answers here. He reiterated that his deal wasn't about making money. My strong intuitive sense is that having a public platform that is maximally trusted and broadly inclusive is extremely important to the future of civilization, he said. I don't care about the economics at all. How quickly could he change things on Twitter? Probably not that quickly. The deal still needs to be finalized, a process that could take weeks or months. Under federal law, Musk will have to notify regulators at the Federal Trade Commission and Justice Department about his plans to buy Twitter. If regulators open a review of the deal, it could lead to delays in closing the purchase. After that, Musk has pledged to take Twitter private. When he announced his bid, he said in a filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission that, "Since making my investment, I now realize the company will neither thrive nor serve this societal imperative in its current form. Twitter needs to be transformed as a private company." Musk has said he would want to keep as many shareholders as allowed by the law when he takes the company private. And he hasn't announced plans for what a leadership team or potential board of directors would look like. So there are still a lot of open questions about how much direct influence Musk would wield. A possible edit button on Twitter? The edit button is probably one of the most requested features on Twitter. Picture this. You have crafted your perfect, punchy 280-character or less thought. You type it out, you press tweet, and then you see a typo. Twitter does not have a way to edit tweets without deleting and resending. Musk asked his followers whether they wanted an edit button in a poll on Twitter, and 73.6% of the more than 4 million voters said yes. A day later, Twitter's communications team confirmed in a tweet that the company was already working on the feature. "No, we didn't get the idea from a poll," the team tweeted with a winky face. Making Twitter's algorithm more open? Musk has said he wants to make Twitter's algorithm more transparent, including letting people see whether their tweets were promoted or demoted. He said he wants to make the algorithm that recommends whether a tweet gets promoted or demoted open source, or available for the public to view and improve upon. He said he believes that will help prevent behind-the-scenes manipulation. Researchers say this plan is vastly more complicated than Musk's proposal make it seem, and Twitter has been considering it already. A former Twitter employee who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss private matters said the company has considered an algorithm marketplace in which users can choose different ways to view their feeds. But efforts to offer more transparency have proved challenging, the person said, because of how tied Twitter's algorithms are to other parts of the product. Opening it up could reveal trade secrets and invite abuse. What happens to your private Twitter messages and data? It's unclear whether Musk would make any changes to the company's privacy policy. He hasn't announced any plans for changing things and would probably face significant backlash if users' data became less secure. Owning Twitter would arguably put him in control of more sensitive user data than his company's Tesla and SpaceX collect. Twitter direct messages are not encrypted, meaning they are less secure and potentially easier for people inside the company to view, since it does not require an encryption key. While Twitter has an option to delete DMs, it warns that the action only removes the data for an individual user. The other parties can still see it, meaning it is retained on Twitter's servers. Musk's own direct messages, or private messages, have occasionally become public. Last year, he messaged a teenager who was running an account that tracked his private jet. Musk offered him $5,000 to take down the account. The teen politely declined. With that, we come to the end of this video. Consider subscribing to join in on our future content.